Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. And today we will move to one of the videos that I want to make and also some of the contents that I want to show about the histories behind the international icons in the entertainment media. So first we will move to talk about Marvel entertainment. When the name Marvel is mentioned, people often think of the media giant that gives people the iconic superheroes like Spider-Man or the Avengers. However, not many are fully aware of the history behind the giant, from the Silver Age to the near bankruptcy. Marvel really went for a roller coaster history, a change of inspiration, of resilience. And today we will dig it in into our history of Marvel. First, we will move to the Golden Age, or move to the Golden Age of comics. Marvel Comics didn't have that name right away. It was first named Timely Comics by Martin Goodman, and the first book ever is Marvel Comics issue number one in 1939, introducing Namor and the Human Torch, Jim Hammond. And in some years later, they focus on the patriotism, anti-fascist actions, and wartime adventures due to the political tensions at the time. And this tab also introduces the iconic Captain America and his sidekick Bucky Barnes for the golden age of Timely Comics. Next, we move to the Atlas Comics period. This Atlas Comics period appeared after the World War II. This this period witnessed the plummeting numbers of the comics industry, forced Timely to rebrand itself as Atlas Comics, and they also shift the genres towards Western, romance, horror, sci-fi, or war stories, which led to a struggle to find its identity from Atlas Comics. Last but not least, the introduction of CCA in 1954 also hit Atlas Comics, as it restricted the company to comply with the law and also prevents some of the ideas to happen. However, it is in the 1950s, it means it is the Silver Age of comics, and this Silver Age witnessed the revival of of Atlas Comics, later known as Marvel Comics. So to start with, we need to find the inspiration of for the superhero comics to come back. So they took the inspiration by sci-fi fictions at the time, and the Silver Age kicked off with the reintroduction of the Flash from DC Comics in 1956, and then Atlas Comics followed the way, and renamed itself to Marvel Comics in the early 60s. And in this period of time, Marvel introduced to the public some of the most iconic appearances of the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, or the X-Men, and so on, which became very iconic and symbolic for the brand and for the industry. The company also introduced the four heroes into the public, such as Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, Hank Pym, or the Hulk as prime example. And speaking of the Silver Age, this introduction of Spider-Man cannot be ignored. First appear in the Amazing Fantasy issue 15, the iconic and symbolic appearance of Spider-Man became one of the hallmarks in comic history and in Marvel history, as it first introduced and proved that relatable heroes can work and thrive in this industry. However, this Silver Age era witnessed a famous departure of Jack Kirby in summer 1970 to DC Comics due to disagreements and disputes about author's rights and treatments with Stan Lee. And this event is often cited by many as the end of the Marvel Silver Age. Next, we will move to the Bronze Age. So, the Bronze Age started from the 70s, and we need to talk about more about the social context at the time. So, in the Bronze Age, the US society witnessed the political unrest, witnessed the racial and the anti-Vietnam War movements, witnessed the hippie wave, and due to the reasons, and in order to reflect the social and political climate at the time, Marvel started to talk more about them in the world in the comic books, the the pages start to become darker. Some iconic events in this era, like the death of Gwen Stacy, the first appearance of Wolverine, symbolize this era of Marvel as the transition to a darker era of the brand itself and comics in general. And this Bronze Age also witnessed the iconic X-Men run by Chris Claremont, which turned the X-Men into one of the most popular franchises of Marvel. And now we will move to the golden age, modern age. So we will we will start to move with the 80s and mid the 90s. So in this period, Marvel underwent massive changes in storytelling and financing when Stanley left the creative work in the in the comics to start his filmmaking career. And Marvel Comics renamed itself to Marvel Entertainment Group in 1986. The comic cartoon of the time also became more darker than the same of the Bronze Age. Major cross events also started to take place in the Marvel universe, like the first Secret Wars or the Infinity Gauntlet. However, in this era, Marvel is more known of its near bankruptcy. And in details, in 1996, Marvel faced financial hardship due to complications of reasons for the likes of comic book bubble outbursts, issuing young bonds, and poor management, which made Marvel to sell filmmaking rights to many of its popular franchises to various movie studios to stay afloat. For instance, they sold Spider-Man to Sony, they sold Fantastic Four and X-Men rights to 20th Century Fox Studios, and which led us to the early 2000s and early 2010s. After the near bankruptcy, Marvel found itself in the urge to restart and modernize its franchise, and this effort started with launching the Ultimate Universe, followed by the other footsteps such as the X-Men run by Grant Morrison, Civil War, and vice versa. The efforts paid off as the sales of 2000s Marvel rocketed again and saved Marvel in terms of finance and creativity. And the 2000 also witnessed its superhero movies with the IPs of Marvel Comics, and the 2000s saw many of the famous characters in Marvel start to appear on the screen, such as Spider-Man, X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Daredevil, on the Hook. But the most notable example of the 2000s movie has to be the Iron Man, created in 2008, which kickstarted the MCU. And next, we will move to the 2010s to the present day. So, started from the 2010s, Marvel in this period inherited the success from the last decade, and it decided to open its doors for diversities and new generation of writers. The company is no longer full of white men taking charge, and also they are open to women, they are open to people with different races or sexual tendencies. And this era also witnessed the Disney the the Disney occupation, the Disney takeover for Marvel, and the MCU success also turned Marvel to become a household name, and which made the position of Marvel in the public is cemented as a part of an entertainment giant and entertainment icon itself. And we so after this video, it's easy to conclude that the history of Marvel shows its resilience through hardships, innovation, creativity reflected by generations of workers of the enterprise. Started as a small comic company to a global phenomenon, Marvel itself has become a living symbol in the entertainment industry of how to survive, how to become relevant, and how to stay as an icon in the public eye. And that is the end of the video today. If you want to follow more of our content, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to have some comments or any idea, please comment politely below and see you next time.